Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, August 26, 2024. This is your crypto market update brought to you by Kraken Cryptocurrency. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor. Forgot my job there for a second. Senior mentor at KrakenCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you happen to be tuning in from. We've got a relatively, uninteresting couple of days in the market, hitting 65,000 on obviously over the weekend, as we kind of expected. That's exactly what I put out in my report on Friday and what I discussed on Friday, seeing smooth sailings for the weekend. And as I've said yesterday, this week is going to be fairly non-committal, I think, from a trading perspective. We haven't seen a ton of volatility. We've seen a pretty orderly pullback currently right now to retest the levels of breakout on Bitcoin. The rest of the crypto market does seem to be pulling back as well. We do have, of course, I guess you could call it a fundamental catalyst. It's not really that big, but a news event. Obviously, the lead developer / founder of the Telegram, or the of TON, the Telegram Open Network, has been arrested. That's kind of a big news story that's been going around lately. And we did see a big impact on a lot of altcoins on the TON network. All right, so lower small cap projects on the TON network, some not so small cap, honestly, to be quite honest with you. TON project's been pretty popular, and that coin's done quite well over the past year. But we've seen those prices drop pretty significantly by 20% or more. The rest of the crypto market, the broader crypto market, isn't really pulling back with that kind of veracity, with that kind of power. But certainly, as I said, we do have a very important week next week coming up for macro fundamentals with the ISM manufacturing index. We also have non-farm payrolls. We also have U.S. unemployment data. And as I said, those will likely set the tone. And analysts are expecting those to be positive. I would like for them to be positive. The most critical one for me, ISM manufacturing index is probably the most market important, whereas I would say in the medium term, in the 3 to 6 months, with regards to the non-farm payrolls, that is certainly the most critical data point that I'm looking at for the potential of a recession in the United States, like a mathematical recession. We can make the argument, as many have, that we are currently in a recession when you kind of combine or adjust for factors that are currently at play right now. For example, the rising prices of everything. And so inflation has been very bad, obviously, but not as bad as it has been, honestly, historically. So there is that. So non-farm payrolls is very critical, something that I'm looking for. And that's going to be a much longer term economic indicator for me that is quite important. It's something as an American, it's something I'm quite important looking at. Yes to crypto. Ryan Rocket, good to see you guys in the chat. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. But, honestly, if the results next week, if the reports that come out next week are quite positive, I think the crypto will continue to just slowly drift up, barring any significant catalysts. And then, of course, we do have probably the most important, where we will see a lot of volatility going into it, which is, of course, the United States elections coming up in November. A lot sooner than we think. It's August. November 3rd, ladies and gentlemen, November 3rd. Mark your calendars. All right, let's get into the charts real quick and see how everything is kind of evolving here today. We'll see if we're going to take some trades. We are, of course, now trading on Jumpex. So we do now have the futures account funded. Obviously, I am copy trading on there as well. However, the way that I trade in the copy trade account has been different and will be also different moving forward because I strive to maintain a very high hit rate with the copy trade account. So I'm very selective about the trades that I take in that account because I do strive in the copy trade account to be as close to 100% accurate as possible because that's just the nature of the beast, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter how much people like you if they start copy trading you and you only win 70% of the trades, they will go find somebody else. So I'm very selective about the trades that I take in the copy trade account, and that's going to be a little bit different from the trades that I would normally take. Like normally, the way that I normally trade, I strive for a 65 to 70% hit rate. It's not really that I strive for that. It's just that that's generally what I accomplish. There are some months when it's an 80% hit rate. There's some months where it's a 90% hit rate. There's some months where it's a 30% hit rate, and that's just how it is. But you can't be a 30% hit rate copy trader for a month, or you'll lose half of your clients. So anyways, moving on. So we do have this fresh funded. I put some money in there today. And I also did, I'm kind of interested in it. Obviously for years and years and years, I've been very dismissive of Coinbase. But today I actually went through and got approval to trade futures on Coinbase. And I noticed that they have gold and oil futures, which is quite interesting. So I might be doing some of that speculation on Coinbase moving forward. But for right now, Jumpex is going to be on my primary platform. If you guys are interested, it's a KYC and VPN free exchange. It's kind of the next generation of Fairdesk, who I've been working with for the past year. They've been absolutely fantastic. There have been I mean, everyone in my community was trading on Fairdesk, had zero complaints. The only complaint being that they didn't have a lot of pairs to trade, which now that all the talent from Fairdesk has moved over and founded this new exchange, Jumpex, we are now again working with the same people that took an exchange that was absolutely, you know, I don't want to say bottom tier exchange, but just didn't have a lot of liquidity or a lot of customers when I first started working with them. And over the year I've been working with them, they went to a top 10 exchange. All right. So all the personality, all of the talent that did that is now at Jumpex. And so I foresee the exact same thing happening with Jumpex. Anyways, but before we actually take any trades, of course, we want to chart. We want to get a picture of exactly what's going on with the market. So let's just start off BTC on the daily time frame. Obviously, we got these signals for swing longs right here, and we actually entered, and my recommended entry zone for my community was 60 to 62,000. All right. So currently our price is 62,033. So we're just right. I mean, we are slightly above that recommended entry zone. I am looking at this. We'll see this in a little bit, how the 4 hour is kind of attractive right here. We do see that the daily is pretty overextended here, even on yesterday's candle, as I was talking about, before yesterday really began to slide down, and we ended up closing down about 2% yesterday, 2.16% here on Binance, and then only 1.27% today. So again, not these big massive pullbacks. None of this is very dramatic to me, but we are a little bit overextended on the daily. All right, which does make, so again, we just want to adjust your risk accordingly if we are entering here at 62. As I said, I'm pretty confident in this long swing. I'm okay with letting this kind of oscillate around, even return to the range potentially. What we're seeing right now, if we do end up kind of pushing up from here, this would be a very classic just BPR break pullback retest where we have a pretty clear level of resistance here. Let's get the highlighter out. We got a pretty clear level of resistance here. We see that price struggled to break through it on August 24th. Or excuse me, not August 24th. Yes, August 24th, but August 8th, August 9th, August 10th, August 11th, you know, and then we pulled back a little bit more dramatically down here, went for it 2 more times over 2 consecutive days, pulled back again, consolidated briefly, and then we're finally able to break out above it on Friday, which is when we ended up taking those long swings in the first place between 60 and 62,000. Now, we went sideways for 2 days, and we've had 2 days of pullback. All right, thus the red color shade of today's thumbnail, just kind of noting, of course, the obvious decline in price over the last 2 days. Again, nothing significant, on the order of about 3.5%. So nothing to get too crazy about here on Bitcoin. We've of course seen much bigger movements than this just in recent history. Look at this. Do still feel fairly confident that the low has been established here. What would change that? Obviously, breaking down below the daily baseline, which is currently printing at about 59,112. So close below 59,000 is going to require me to put on some kind of short coverage. I will, of course, keep the long open, though, based on the quality of the trade that I took. My stop loss for that long swing is quite low, around 53,000. So I'm very comfortable with this trade kind of oscillating around and moving, because I do feel that if this is the movement, especially if we do get positive reports next week, we are going to likely enter into a second phase of markup. All right. I won't, of course, dismiss what several people have had the temerity to point out. The fact that we are just kind of descending in this range, making lower lows, making lower highs. All right. All of this is quite fine. All right. But listen, guys, you know, when we take long swings, there's also an element of, I mean, there's always an element of risk taking in everything that we do. So, you know, you just got to believe in the dream, man. 2025. You got to believe in the dream, 2025. However, to that point, okay, just so you guys are clear about this, and I've been very consistent about this, I moved almost all of my crypto into stable coins in March throughout April, and I signaled the same to my community, and that has not changed. All right, so I am still, as of this current time, I would say between 90 and 95% still in USDT. All right, so I'm just trading from USDT stablecoins. All right, I'm margined in USDT stablecoins. So clearly, yes, even though I am long swing, I do not yet have the conviction to move my stack back into crypto, and I'm not fairly confident to say like, yes, it's nothing but up from here. Everything's up. Verk, good to see you in the chat, my friend. So we're not there yet. But again, that's not the point. Those opportunities, again, only come around every couple of years. You know what I mean? And that is typically when we either get those, you know, macro signals to move our portfolios all into crypto and hold. okay, which we did. All right, we again, if you guys have been here, I identified the regular bullish divergence back in December of 2022. I recommended everybody who watches my stream and everybody in my community and in my Discord to get long at that point in time, and we held those positions, I mean, until I signaled that I was out of the market in March throughout April of 2024. All right, that trade right there, all right, which you could call it a swing trade with my entire account. As I've said many times, it is 20% of my trades that account for 80% of my profits. So those trades right there are what make the most impact. All right. And it obviously has taken me quite a long time of trading to be able to do that comfortably and confidently. And I have been wrong about those things before, and with obviously financial consequences. But I'm not in the state of mind where I feel that shorting is appropriate. So again, we're just trading, and that's fine. All right. I just demonstrated yesterday. We were talking about the Ethereum challenge with a $20,000 account. Yesterday, we were able to earn, hypothetically, $1,600. And I mean, that's just fantastic for someone who is just starting off in trading. To be able to do that with a $20,000 account is quite amazing. So that's been pretty fun. And I think that is likely going to be the strategy that we were going to be using moving forward on these streams. I would like to get back to streaming earlier in the morning. That way I can do a little bit more active, not necessarily day trading, but more active swing trading in the mornings. And then focus on my daily swing trades in the evening, which is kind of my style and my strategy that I've taught everybody. Alex, good to see you, my friend. Welcome to the stream, man. All right, take a little sip of water, and we're gonna get into the nitty gritty here. Okay. All right, so not too much to talk about Bitcoin here on the daily. Let's go down through the lower time frames and see what we can find. Obviously, on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that Bitcoin, after consolidating for a long period of 4-hour candles here, we did get the sell signal from time transformation. All right, so I mean, just beautiful signal here. Let's just go back. We were receiving buy signals. Let's see, first one obviously here, here, and here. So just even averaging down into that particular position, which is not how I recommend trading. But either way, and then the nice sell signal so far currently at the current market high. We are now getting our first buy signal right now on the 4-hour time frame that does have confluence with, of course, the break pullback retest pattern that I talked about, where price will break through a level of resistance, pull back to that previous level of resistance, and retest it as support. All right, so it's a very classic trading pattern, very classic trading setup. So typically for something like this, we would be looking at something like, let's say we're entering here. Okay. Obviously, we want to be setting our stop loss somewhere below previous support. All right. So let's say we're establishing our stop loss down here around 57,608. And if we're going to do that, if we're simply using a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, that means price simply needs to go to, come on now, work with me. We'll just do 0.99. That's fine. 66,431. All right. So we basically need to have, and that trade will, of course, be successful if this is going to play out as a BPR, where we are going to be moving into a regime out of consolidation, out of making lower lows and lower highs, into a new regime of making higher highs and higher lows, with this being ideally our first higher low. All right. If we are, of course, going to break down below here and come down and retest these levels, it doesn't necessarily mean that price will not retain these highs. We do, of course, see situations where price will be consolidating in a range, do what is commonly called a fake out to the upside, and then come back down. Typically with those types of setups, more often than not, again, nothing is gospel here. But more often than not, when we do see, let's call it what is called a fake out, where price will break resistance and then really pull all the way back down and not make forward progress, it will typically happen much faster. All right. So fake outs, liquidity sweeps, liquidity grabs, they're called different things by different traders. But we will typically see that happen faster. All right. And as we can see here, that's not really what happened. Price moved up. We see this consolidation and then price moved down. So when you see this kind of consolidation, when you see price moving sideways like this, it is letting you know that traders found this price fair. There was a lot of people buying at this price, trying to buy into the breakout. And obviously, as price has moved down, there was obviously a lot of people selling. There's always an equal amount of buying and selling on futures platforms. So So this movement was not able to have a sustained continued breakout to the upside. But again, a pullback, as I said here, is a pretty natural, pretty common trading pattern that we will see many, many times. So I don't really feel bad about a 4-hour setup like this, especially because that could be construed as a continuation trade for the daily time frame. Now, what we can do here is we can see what would Quadrigo suggest. And I quite like this, you know, so I load up Quadrigo here and I do see that Quadrigo is, well, that's a 3.5x multiplier actually. So that's not really what we're going for here. Yeah. Yeah, we'd have to take a lot more risk. And I don't really like the idea of taking a stop loss somewhere in between this range. If I were to take a trade here, I would definitely want to be having my stop loss below the lows here, or below previous support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here. There we go. Finally get that risk to reward ratio to exactly 1. And so our position size should be about, if you're trading with a $5,000 account, should be about 0.023. Risk to reward ratio of 2 to 1. And so our potential loss would be at 2% risk. Doesn't seem right. Let's see here. So this will be pretty easy to check. I'm going to pull up let's see here. Crypto Trading Academy public resources, and I'm just going to open up our position size calculator. This tool is available to everybody in the community. And so we're going to say a $5,000 account balance. We're actually going to snap this to the left, snap this right here. And so let's say a simulated entry of 61,900 no, sorry. Yeah, 61,950 is fine. Risk percentage is going to be 2%. 61,950. Stop loss would be 57,608. Our position size would be 1,426, and our potential loss would be $100. All right, so, okay, that's actually correct. For some reason, it just didn't seem right to me. That's fine. All right. So then let's go ahead and go over here, and we're going to do a couple of things. First, we're going to be trading with isolated margin. We are going to set our leverage to 10x. All right. Because 10x leverage will allow us to have a 10% variance between our entry price and our liquidation level. Gentrification says my portfolio is down, down, down. I feel you, my friend. Listen, you know, very much in crypto, and I've made this comment before. This is why I advocate for example, you know, systems trading as opposed to YOLO risking it. And just to kind of retell a story that I tell very frequently, I've met thousands of traders, probably tens of thousands of traders, honestly, you know, traveling around and meeting people and being in groups and being on chats and being on other people's strats, just everything, right? I've been doing this since 2016 and almost a decade of being in crypto. Look how young I look. And listen, you know, listen, I like speculating on, you know, on-chain tokens. You know, I really do like that. I like finding, it's enjoyable, it's fun. I've got a few circles that I run with in group chats that I'm in where you know, the people in those chats, their speciality or their passion is kind of finding those low cap gems and going in. And listen, I do that, right? I'm not saying that I don't, but I do it with a small percent of my portfolio. All right. I've never had, I mean, well, I mean, not in recent times. I mean, not since 2018, I would say. But the vast majority of my trading, 90 to 95% of all of my trading is high cap coins on a regular centralized exchange, with a trade setup similar to what you're seeing me kind of concoct right now, and at 2% risk. All right. It's not super sexy. It's not super fast. I don't make $50,000 in a day. You know what I mean? But again, it took me a while to build up to a $100,000 account, trading with a larger account now. And yeah, it's not like, I'm not here to like flex or like beat my chest or anything, but like, if you just stick with it, like first off, like you should be doing the things in your life to improve your life, right? You should be doing the things to improve your life. And that means, trying to get a higher level of income, doing everything you can to get promotions or get a better job or save money or be more frugal, all of those kind of things. Those are just good things in general that everybody should be doing. And if you can do that and you can dedicate yourself to setting money aside in the hopes of in the future having a trading account, and then you spend a year or two like learning to trade and demo trading and experimenting with different styles of trading, and you build up to a $20,000 or $30,000 savings. If you decide trading's not for you, you've got money on the side. That is your emergency fund. You can go on a vacation. You can buy something nice, put a down payment on a house. I mean, not for $30,000 nowadays, but I mean, you got to find the right thing. But then you can just start off, right? And just trade slowly. And it's not hard. Like I said, it's not impossible. It's not really actually even that difficult. With a $20,000 account, with a risk managed account, if you're taking, obviously you have to do this on the hourly, you would have to be taking 5 to 10, 10 to 20 trades per week, and on the lower end of that, you can make, $1,000 to $2,000 a week. You know what I mean? If you've spent the time to develop a 65 to 70% net rate strategy, which is not difficult. It's really not that difficult. Not every single week's going to be like that. There are going to be good, they're going to be great months. There's going to be bad months. You know what I mean? But everything should average out to about 70% over a large series of trades. And you don't have to have a degree in statistics. You don't even have to be good at math. Like, I'm not naturally good at math. Like, I always struggled with math in school. I struggle with math all the time. If you watch the stream consistently, you will see me like I just did it, right? Just a little bit ago. I was looking at this and I was like, all right, 5,000. Okay, hold on, 2% of 5,000. I was like, that shouldn't be 100. It is 100. Of course it's 100. 2% of... so, you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, it's not, I don't think it's that difficult. What's difficult about trading is saying no to all the things that are bad for you. That's the hard part. It's the emotional aspect of it. It's the psychological aspect of it. It's disciplining yourself to only trade your signals, to only trade your strategy. It's disciplining yourself to not throw 100% of your account into this meme coin craze because you just saw all these people on Twitter post about how they just made $2 million. It's hard to not, just get attached to a personality and take all of their trades and then buy all the coins they tell you to buy just for them to dump on you later. It's hard to not switch from strategy to strategy to strategy because you don't feel like your account is growing fast enough, even though you've done the math to know that, hey, if I just do this thing 1,000 times, I should make $1,000 or $100,000, whatever it is. So that's the difficult part. It's not just crypto. It's not just trading. This affects everybody. It's a problem that I see with so many people nowadays, particularly young men and men in general, where, they just can't commit to something in a more long-term fashion, to sacrifice short-term instant gratification, to sacrifice in the now for greater gain in the future. But if you can do that, I mean, trading's pretty simple. It's actually pretty boring. It's actually pretty boring. That's what I like about it. You know what I mean? And, like as a professional trader, my life's not super glamorous, but I get to live, I live debt free. If there's something that I want, I can just go buy it. I don't really, and obviously like it wasn't always like that. You know what I mean? It's been like that for a long time, but I did that, there was I worked in a factory for multiple years. Obviously I'm working class, so I worked in a factory almost all of my life until my mid-20s when I started trading full time. For about 2-3 years there, like I definitely lived, I would say, kind of unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like all I did was study trading. All I did was save money. I didn't go out. I didn't hang out with friends. I didn't really talk to anybody. I just dedicated myself to that. You don't have to go that hardcore, but that worked for me. And now, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I'm on a pretty good schedule, but you know, theoretically, like I could wake up whenever I want to, scan the markets whenever I want to, talk to whoever I want when I want to, you know, I'm beholden to nobody. But you know, that's not just trading. That's also just like good decision making, you know? Yeah. Like there are, of course, like I can't go get anything that I want. Like you're not going to see me driving around in an Aston Martin. Like could I go buy an Aston Martin if I wanted to? Like, yeah, I could, but that would be that would not just be like, I don't have money like that. You know what I mean? Like that would be that would require me to sacrifice a lot of other things. You know what I mean? And who the heck needs an Aston Martin? You know what I mean? Like I live in the country, like I live in a rural area. So, nobody around here cares. Like nobody's impressed by your car, dude. You should, you know, measure people based on their character, not their possessions. Yeah. I've met a lot of rich people, a lot of fancy rich people. And like, yes, like I'm not like, I don't subscribe to the idea that everybody who has nice things is a bad person. Like some of the greatest people I know have like really fancy stuff and nice things, but they have the income to afford that. And that's just how they choose to live their life. It's not really my style. Yes, man. You cannot put a price on experience. Good to see you, my friend Caprica in the chat. Okay, sorry. We were discussing the markets, and then I got off on a tangent, which I tend to do. I got to wrap up in about 10 minutes, guys. I'm being consistent about coming on stream, but I always seem to start the stream just a little too late, and then it like cuts into the time when I have to go get my daughter from school. And so, yeah, getting better on that. Getting earlier every day. Let's see here. All right, so yeah, we do have BTC on the 4 hour here. We can take the long swing. But what I think I'm going to do, here, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to hold off on entry for now. We do have, of course, the 4 hour buy signal. We are, of course, retesting support. But I haven't really seen a shift in momentum here. I would really like to see that because I am already long. So I don't need to apply additional risk to this trade unless it's very granted. Price is oversold technically, but it hasn't discounted itself enough for me discretionarily, because I'm kind of looking for a discretionary trade at this point in time, to feel attractive about it. Like it doesn't seem a steep enough discount to me. So if price does end up bottoming out here, and we do get some positive price action, I'll feel a little bit better about buying in. So we'll look to maybe do that tomorrow. But for now, I'm just going to hang out, if maybe even just for the next couple of 4 hour closes, and just see what price does. But there's no rush here. There's nothing to snipe here. All right. You know, I'm already long from 60,000. So life's good. So let's go to Ethereum. Ethereum similarly didn't have really the breakout that Bitcoin had. Yes, we did cross the daily baseline, but we don't actually have we don't have a close above previous resistance, which for me is just one of the key telltale signs that I look for. I want to see an actual daily candle close above resistance. That's really my go-to. I'm a momentum breakout trader at the heart of it. That's how I make most of my money. I will take reversal trades from time to time, but I mean, 90% of my trades are trend following momentum trades, and specifically momentum breakout setups. So I don't really see that. So this is quite telling. Ethereum, of course, has had less volatility than Bitcoin. It's been a little bit less positive, really since the last Ethereum upgrade, honestly, but for the majority of 2024, which is a little bit different, after like the Ethereum run up and ETF decision and all that kind of stuff. So, 4 hour time frame, we are of course getting the same I got to stop with my filler words. I apologize, guys. We are getting the same oversold signal here on the 4 hour time frame. We are a little bit closer to support, so this is actually a more attractive swing long to me. Ethereum is. So I'm going to see if I can be patient, wait a little bit longer, just like with Bitcoin, and see if I can get a bit of a discount on Ethereum. Filler word again. Smells like Teen Spirit. That's a good one. The rest of the market, Well, first, let's go to the Minx Ethereum challenge strategy that we have been using to great success. Let's make sure that we have this adjusted properly. Yeah, 60 Hall MA and current time frame baseline filter of signals. So let's see here. First short signal here, which of course was a success. And we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 continuation signals since then, which would have been quite nice. So potentially 4 additional short signals throughout here. So as I said, even coming down to the hourly, we can really see the lack of positive momentum. Price has been unable to even break above the 1 hour baseline. And as someone who likes to trade with momentum, and I can just look at, I mean, you just look at this chart, even if I just stripped everything away, which I will, let's just strip everything away. I mean, what is the dominant direction of this chart? It's down. Why do I want to buy it if the dominant direction is down? Okay, I'm not a reversal trader. I'm not that great of a reversal trader anyways. Like, sure, I've sniped some bottoms in my day. The majority of my profits come from momentum. So I want to see momentum moving in the direction that I want to trade. If you just trade in the right direction, even if your entry is bad, you're much more likely to have a profitable trade. If you are always trying to predict when the dominant direction of the market will shift and try to get in at that price, you are frequently going to be wrong. And I prefer trading where I win most of the time. Optimizing for a hit rate. Everyone asks me, I get the question a lot, you know, what should I optimize my strategy for? Because when you get into like nerding it out and you get into like writing your own Pine script and you do your automated back testing and all of that kind of stuff, there's some like key data points, and that's going to be like a percent profitability, which is trading view speak for hit rate, like how often you win versus how often you lose. And then the trap that a lot of people will fall into is optimizing for profit, which is not the way to go, because often when you optimize for profit, you can end up with something like a 30% hit rate strategy, which means you're losing 70% of the time. And I don't care what the back test says, and I don't care how greedy you are, and I don't care how disciplined you are. It's very unlikely that if you're losing twice as much as you win, you're going to continue trading that strategy, especially when, if you understand that if you take 100 trades, the odds of having a 10 in a row losing streak increase exponentially for every set of 100 trades that you take. And that losing streak can come in at any point in time. And for whatever reason, it seems to often occur when you're starting off with a new strategy, where you just a losing streak. So you just think it's a losing strategy after 10 trades and you're like, I'm not going to trade this anymore. And I don't blame you. Why would you? Who would want to do that? So let's just flip through here and see if, and I'm going to have to make, I will make a new watch list tomorrow with all of the pairs on Jumpex that we can trade. I had previously done that with Fairdesk. We can see here, Fairdesk copy trade pairs. So we'll just go to our default top 100, which is actually just my top 76, honestly, on the 1 hour time frame. And I'm going to show you guys essentially what a daily scan looks like for me when I'm going through and looking for a trade. No signal, no signal, no signal, no signal. I see TON is interesting here. We're definitely consolidating after a large sell-off here. We have formed 3 lower lows and no higher high as of yet. So again, similarly, while this does look interesting and we did get an hourly long signal 2 candles ago, I think I'm going to refrain from longing TON at this point in time. But so far, this is the best kind of setup that I've seen. I would really like to see, it would really be better if we had more sideways consolidation and then had a more sustained breakout. Like I said, the majority of my winning trades, and so the trades that I really shoot and try to optimize for, are momentum breakout trades where we have a very clear break of resistance. Cardano, no. Shiba Inu, no. Now, Avalanche, I am actually inclined to short here. The reason being the current and dominant direction is to the downside, and we just had a baseline retest here. So this is actually the setup that I will go for today. And we'll just keep this very simple with a 1-to-1 risk-to-reward ratio and using 1.5x multiples of the ATR. And let's see here, my position size should be 5661. All right, that's fine. So now we're going to go over to Jumpex, and we're going to get right into AVAX. And always check that we are in isolated and at 10x leverage. And so we are just gonna market enter USDT amount 5661, and we're just gonna sell short because I want to get in. All right, we'll worry about it later, and then we'll set our TPs. 25.0, we'll just say 25.03. We'll be a little greedy here. 25.03. Okay. Potential profit of 95.50 and 25.93 for our stop loss. All right, easy peasy. So as I said, very simple trade, relatively tight, TP, SL, nothing super serious. Of course, we are on the 1 hour time frame, and that's why. 1 hour time frame, Minx typically clocks in at a hit rate between 65 and 70%, averaged out over 100 trades. So we'll just flip the coin here. Hey, Rudy LaPlane, good to see you, my friend. It's been, yeah, it has been a few weeks. And I am getting back to streaming every day, even if it's just for, listen, I'm going to pop on even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes to say, hey, I just took this trade. And then I'm going to build that momentum up to get back to the hour-long streams, the 2-hour-long streams. I really like to get back to streaming for like a long time in the mornings and just doing the live trading with like music and doing the subathons and all that kind of stuff. I find that a lot of fun. All right, guys. But with that being said, I do have to wrap the show up. It is that time. Thank you guys so much for coming out to see me and for spending some time with me and analyzing the markets. As always, trade safely. Listen, guys, emotional discipline and risk management is what pays the bills in my household, and I highly recommend making the shift to letting them pay the bills in your household as well. If you guys need a VPN and KYC free exchange to trade crypto futures on, I highly recommend checking out Jumpex, partner of the channel. Link in the description if you are interested. Anybody who uses the link will obviously get a quite nice deal, VIP level 3 discounts on all of their trades, which is quite hefty, so quite nice, very competitive. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, or death threats, please leave them in the comments section down below, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Trade safely. Be good, everybody.